No, professional service firms, they don't. See, VCs generally, I will tell you this much, and I'm talking about, except for a few VCs, they don't like investing in anything which is determined by time and materials. Materials. Generally, that's why they don't invest in, now it's changed. Even a certain side of service business they've invested. But they generally don't like investing in where there is a linear growth in profits based on how many people you have and the number of hours or things like that. So unless somebody comes in with IP, as somebody called it, a specific kind of a thing, but there are other people who will invest in certain specific type of law firms, Navneet will know everything about this, but who will invest in specific type of law firms, who are very specialized in certain areas,
But suppose we develop a solution, like poison pill was developed in US, which itself has an IP. Then also.
No, but the question is, your IP is realized by selling that poison pill solution to your customers at more than it has cost you. So there's internal IP which you generate, where you should not be billing. This is what Infosys does, right? Infosys will come out and TCS will come out. They've said, look, we're going to do some of our billing based not on our spend, but on revenues earned or costs saved to our customers. So we're going to share in upfront. That you can do. So you are realizing your IP. You don't need external money. You've already developed it. Once you develop it, how you price it becomes a different issue. In that pricing, you should always price it based on the value to the customer, not the cost to you. And that's why in law firms you have different rates, right? A partner gets charged at a different rate. You can spend a very little time with his 1 hour, you're saying is worth a lot more. And if you're using some tools which nobody else has, then that has also got to be priced in a certain way.
How do you see China migrating from manufacturing to services? There's a challenge there right now. And
India.
how do you see it? It will be a sustainable model. And what are the lessons for India? And the opportunities for growth? And a shift from manufacturing to services.
That's already happening in China.
Where this should happen? And what are the opportunities for India?
Well, the opportunities for India, if you look at it, all the at least the IT side, all the Indian IT service companies have got operations, in China. And they're not growing as fast, but they are growing. China's big challenge to build a service industry, in my view, especially in the areas in which India is very, knowledgeable, in BPO, and IT services in our area is obviously English, and they're spending billions of dollars teaching their people, English. But that is a 10-15-year advantage India still has, before they get to that kind of level. They will be able to accelerate it down. The other thing also is that they've got to whereas India, people say, hey, there is piracy, especially when it comes to anything to do with intellectual property. The trust of the Chinese not copying it, and not using it and reselling it or doing something else is less than India. So there is a hurdle for China. In fact, when companies like Infosys, Wipro, and TCS have offered to their Western customers, we'll do it out of our China, center, the client is the one who says, no, bhai, do it in Bangalore. Because that trust element is not there yet. It'll come. The other thing is, some critical parts. The concern, as I said, everybody is afraid of China. They admire China, they're also afraid of China. In the sense that they know that China has got a single, this is my word. China wants to be number one in the world in everything that they do. It's a great ambition to have, and I think that drives them. That drives every Chinese, to do that. But that also creates a resistance for others to say, yeah, we got to, but we don't want them. It's inevitable, but we don't want to want them to get there soon. So we'll try to delay it. That works in favor of some of the other countries, you know. But will China be a big services power in 10 years time? I bet you they will. Bet you they will. There will be a big, but they will be in certain areas, you know, in which. In fact, I was asking a person, Vinod Dham, but 4 or 5 years ago, we were talking about, Indian software industry and Chinese software industry. You know, at that time, Chinese companies which have development centers in both India and China. You know, and he says, what do you see as the difference between the two? And he says, he said, look, the Chinese their mindset is very process oriented. You know, if you tell them do this, they will do it quickly and they will do it extremely well. You know, Indians, you tell them to do something, they won't do it. You know? But they said that, the Chinese software engineer will write excellent code, but he will write the code he's told to write. And he will not be able to take it to the next level. You tell the Indian software engineer to write a code, and he says, "Humko yahan jana hai." The Indian software will get you there. There will be no intermediate code or anything. He somehow done this, got that, did this, did that, and got there. So it's a very fuzzy way of writing and doing the work. Whereas the Chinese would have built, this level would be like this, next level. So slowly he underpins everything. But the Indians say, "Humko yahan jana hai," you write it, and then you backfill. And that's a different mindset. And that's why a lot of companies to write, and if you look at even engineering, Chinese are very good at large scale manufacturing. It doesn't require an individual. But if you want somebody to get that mud guard in that particular shape, you got to come to somewhere in India. All engineering type products, manufacturing, India is still very, very good. Whereas anything mass, which has got to be 100 million of this, is done. But if you say I want 10,000 of something, which is where big values are, then so I can't compare. All I'm saying is they will be very big, very, very big in the service industries. But they will continually, at least for the short term, take that level which India might have to vacate anyway.
Room for last question. It means like Indians are good strategists and Chinese are good workers.
No, I would not say that Indians are. They are master strategists. Their strategy is much bigger vision than ours ever is. They want to be number one in the world and they're going to get there. Right? So we can't pride ourselves and we are strategists. All I'm saying is we can work much better in uncertain things. And we don't need the same infrastructure, mental or physical, to do things. Roads and stuff. They need all of that to do what they do. So that is the advantage which will exist for quite some time. But they will be very big, very, very big in the service industry. We're seeing that already. Because the great advantage is forget about work. If the Chinese start spending money, in the old days we used to say this is macroeconomics. In the old days we said, look, the US and Europe has got to drive, the world. If the Chinese start spending money, the internal Chinese, they save at a higher rate than Indians. They save at 40%, 45% household savings rate. If the Chinese start spending money, they don't need to sell anything outside the world. There is enough money for just the Chinese market for there to be the biggest companies in the world just servicing domestic market. They grew on the basis of export. And that has hurt them. But if they can just generate a 5% increase in domestic consumption, all the things they lose out in selling to Walmart, they will not be able to supply Walmart. That is the big advantage of China. They have got so much internal wealth.
What is manufacturing slowdowns in China? Where do you see manufacturing going in the world as a whole?
It will go to various places. I tell you, I don't think India should concede the manufacturing space to China. I think India should continue, in certain industries like in auto components and others, we're doing extremely well. We're doing extremely well. The only thing we don't seem to do, whereas the Chinese have got a great advantage, even when they are private companies, I think the China works to a master plan. Somebody over there says, yeah, you're a private company, but hey, realize you and he and he and he together have got to be 100 billion. And you take your own way of doing it. In India, you don't do that. You say, "तुम जो भी करो, तुम भी जो भी करो, तुम भी जो भी करो." So we don't have a